So when we think of total quality management, we have to recognize that there's some founders of total quality management. So let's go ahead and quickly go over the gurus of quality. So we have W. Edwards Deming. So he's considered the first one who really started quality. So, and he said it has to have top management buy-in to get it going. And then we have Joseph Duran. So he's saying that over 80% of quality defects are controllable by management. So, and to discover the causes of the problem. So this is where the deep or the root cause analysis actually starts here. Then we have Feigenbaum. So he brought into recognition the hidden plant. So to signify that 15 to 40% of capacity exists to find and fix poor work. So you're spending 15 to 40% of your work time or your capacity to find problems. So they call that the hidden plant. Then we have Crosby. So if we do things right the first time, it adds nothing to the cost of the product. But if we do it wrong, that's where it costs more money. So if we can do things right the first time, we're good. It's a pretty straightforward guy, it seems. So we also have Shingo. So he was an engineering genius who developed the just-in-time philosophy, the single-minute exchange of die, and zero quality control. Zero quality control means there is no one checking quality because every other step is doing everything exactly right. So you don't need to pay somebody to be a quality control or quality assurance. So that's huge. If your company can do that, that'd be awesome. But then we have Ishikawa. So he was the one that came up with the fishbone diagram. It's an Ishikawa cause and effect diagram. So this diagram, though, has 4 specific areas as the ribs of the fish. So we'll go over that in just a minute. And then finally we have Taguchi. So he says that quality is a virtue of design. So we need to design things to be robust. And there's also something called the Taguchi method, which if you're in the supply chain major, we'll go over more in supply chain 450, where we actually have something similar to design of experiments. But all of these people led quality to where it is today. So let's go ahead and kind of move on to how these individuals impacted the world through the International Standards Organization. So we have the ISO core principles of total quality management. So there's 8 areas here. So we have customer focused, leadership, involvement of people, process approach, system approach to management, continuous improvement, fact-based decision making, and mutually beneficial supplier relationships. Notice the first square, customer focused. I hope you're seeing the pattern of the last few topics. The customer is number 1, whether it's an external customer or an internal customer. But this one also involves the leadership. So leadership needs to be involved when it comes to these ISO standards. There's actually a section on leadership where the top management or the executives have to have a buy-in. But all this total quality management can be kind of boiled down into several different things. I mean, we've talked about lean. Well, Six Sigma is what we're talking about in this topic. And Six Sigma is a systematic, data-driven approach to achieving 0 defects. And basically, we need to forget what we know. And we need to go off the data. Let the data prove it to you. We can go with our gut reaction or what we know from the past, but we can't do that with Six Sigma. We must have the data because the data doesn't care. The data is not biased. Well, how do we achieve Six Sigma quality? Trying to get to that 0 defects. Well, we have to do variance reduction. So we have two variations that we're trying to eliminate. We have common cause and special cause. And it's that simple. We're trying to get rid of these two. So I'm sure some of you have heard about Six Sigma certifications. Well, if you just want to get an understanding of basic Six Sigma concepts, basically this topic, you could essentially take a test and become white belt certified. I don't recommend anybody become white belt certified because it's a waste of money. If you want to be aware of what Six Sigma is, I recommend yellow. So you're aware of the principles and you can participate on the projects. And then if you want to get more into a leadership role of Six Sigma, green belt. So you're going to lead, you can lead a green belt level project and assist with data collection. But you're still under the supervision of a black belt. So I'm a certified black belt. So when you're a black belt, you're a full-time project leader and a trainer. And then there's one step higher on this chart here. And this, you eat, sleep, breathe, everything Six Sigma. You're a Six Sigma technologist and an internal consultant. Now, depending on where you go, there might be something called an executive black belt. Well, I think the executives didn't want to be left out, so somebody made up a title. Usually the executive might have the certification of a black belt, a standard black belt, but they hold an executive title. So they're giving an executive black belt. They're usually the ones that are overseeing all the quality projects in a company. So if you come across that, or you might see Six Sigma champion or something to that effect, some big title that sounds important, they're the ones who are ultimately responsible for what's going on with these projects. And if you're interested in these certifications, do a Google search. Sometimes you can take these classes at a local community college or a junior college. But if you're going to take one, I would recommend you go for the green belt, because then you can actually contribute to a project. Where yellow belt, you're a minion. You're a gopher. Go do this, go do that. Go for this, go for that. I don't recommend yellow belts and I certainly do not recommend white belt. Well, it's just a waste of money at white belt. But depending on your field, I would highly encourage the green belt. So next we're going to talk about process capability and how to analyze the control charts that we'll be creating, because we rely on the data. So I'll see you in the next video.